Push down.
All right, we are live.
All right, we're live.
Oh, this is
Doesn't mean you have to sit down, but I'm saying we're live. I mean, we do have a speed. Oh, you
Yeah. I call to order the September 24th meeting of the Student Government Association. We are live streaming and recorded. Please review your agendas while Jacob does roll call.
Nicholas Palumbo. Here. Isabella Moniz.
Here.
Anderson Doer.
Here.
William Connor.
Here.
Travis McLaughlin.
Here.
Brennan Giuliani. Michaela Bidham. Sophia Rubencheck. Melissa Kuzneski. Haru Sharma. Here. Christopher Lanner. Here.
Are there any corrections to the minutes from September 17th? Seeing none, the minutes are approved.
This is my turn. Now for your president's report, Justin Wall.
Hello, everybody. So Joseph couldn't be with us today, so the first order of business is to introduce the Associate Director of Residential Life, John Zaka.
I've asked you, I'll come today to speak about some, an update we're doing to our traditional halls and on campus. Some of you who might have been aware of last year and really in the years past, we've had some issues with the locks in the bathrooms for our traditional halls. We made the decision kind of moving forward to take off those card access locks of the bathroom. So we wanted to come here to let you know what we're going to do, the reason why, answer any questions you may have, and all that good stuff. So a little background and a little bit of information for those who may not know. Really, the past 2 years, but already 2+ years, about 5 years or so, we've been having more and more issues with the card access for the bathrooms. They are more of an outdated system. We've, over the past few years, we've been working with facilities, has tried to update the locks, try to fix them, get the parts that have been needed. Unfortunately, though, these are devices that they're no longer actually making anymore, and getting the pieces and the parts have gotten to the point where we can't do that anymore. Over the past few years, they've actually been taking old locks and taking the parts out and trying to find a way to keep it going. So they've really been working on getting that up and running. But it really has gotten to the point now where that's not feasible. The cost to actually replace all of them would be too high to actually do that. They're not like a small item for that one. So between that, between the fact that we're looking into our other state institutions, about 2 or 3 years ago, we've had conversations, we reached out to our other state sister schools. We're actually the only campus right now that I believe in one other campus that has any kind of locks on their bathrooms that have a card access needed for that one. So for our campus, we are unique in that sense. So it's not something that doesn't normally happen across the board. We did do a survey last year. The results of that survey, while there's some who had a desire to keep certain things on the locks, we had a lot of indifferent students. But ultimately, the question, the response we had from students was they wanted to be able to access the bathrooms. And what we've been finding out has been, as much as we're trying to fix these locks, they've been down. We currently still have locks that are down right now. leads to us propping the doors open. So if you're a first year student who's been in these traditional halls, they have been propped open often because we want to make sure students are able to actually use the bathrooms. And we want to make sure that people are actually are able to access, have accessible basic needs issues out there as well. We know that there's been thoughts and questions about the charges and vandalism and being able to follow up and track down on that aspect of being able to see who's using a bathroom or not. That was taken into consideration. Realistically, we're looking at now that we have the cameras in place, while they're not some of the cameras, they don't look into bathrooms, but we're able to use that plus information from RAs and just kind of just general information to help track down and find out who is responsible for charges. They are saying that we've seen lower amounts of actual vandalism in the bathrooms, so it still occurs, but between what's been happening and what the cost would be to put the locks back on there and the frustration students are having, we determined that removing these would make the most sense. As far as the timeline, is that we are working with facilities. It was looking to do that this semester and sooner rather than later, so we are working with facilities to see what that would entail. It is a process to remove them, make sure that the locks are removed, that the doors are still have the same integrity for the door, for fire codes, making sure that everything is done properly for that. So we are working to get it done as soon as possible. We're talking weeks as far as doing that, so we are working with them to determine a timeline, and we'll share that as we get updates. And again, these are going to be in Courtney, Davis, Dickinson, and Lammers. These are traditional halls and community bathrooms. There will still be locks by our single user bathrooms, so when a student goes to use that bathroom, they're still able to lock that and using that. And we're hoping that, with this change, it's going to make it easier for students, for guests, for people to use the facilities within their halls.
Any questions, comments, or concerns for John Zappo? Dan Courier.
Hey, John, thank you for providing a rationale for the decision. I do want to note, I remember going to the town hall last year with the survey. From my recollection, a majority either wanted to keep the locks just solely for the hall or for anyone on campus who was a resident to access the restroom. So I know the majority wanted to keep it. I understand the point of cost. However, when I know there's a few of us in this room that are tour guides, the parents and prospective students do really like the use of locks. And it's a nice safety feature to have. I'm just concerned about what could be the repercussions of this. That's just my concern. I just want to know, do the benefits really outweigh the cost of this?
That was taken into consideration. So this is not something that was done lightly. I know we did it. We had to look at this for a few years now. If we had a way if we could keep them on there, and we know that the perceived benefits that students have out there. I think the issue that we kind of saw with these going down, that safety that students were having actually weren't happening because they need to be more propped open out there, given that they keep going down as often. I think you are correct. I think we will need to look into and make sure we're monitoring it and making sure that in the halls and buildings that we're seeing upticks, that we're having those conversations, that we're making sure that we don't see a change in that. And if there are those concerns, we definitely want to hear that and see what option changes we can do for that. It is definitely a legitimate concern for that, and I think it's benefited that families have seen for that. And I think we just need to kind of start educating and know the whys behind that. I think it's we've got students who couldn't access bathrooms before, so I think we're trying to balance both safety and access issues for that one. But.
Chris Lannon.
Hi, John. Thank you for coming down. I just want to thank you because I'm sure it's a hard decision you guys in Res Life had to make, so I appreciate you, coming out and letting us know. I know it might get a lot of backlash, but unfortunately you can't please everybody these days. I did want to ask, you mentioned that when we had that open forum last year that SGA did in, I think, the fall, student safety was a concern that came up. What do you think you can do now to assure students that, males, females, non-binary students, trans students will be safe no matter what bathroom they go in, or that people, I'm trying to word this right, how can you ensure student safety in, student bathrooms, basically, all I wanna know.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think in one sense, by removing the locks, we're actually helping ensure people have a better opportunity to choose which restroom they're looking to use on their own. So that does get some of that flexibility out there. I think just looking at the other aspects too, if you have a guest coming onto campus and you're a certified student and you have a female guest, they might be using the water bathroom they can use, it might be using the same, the same one of them. So I think it helps people choose which ones they're looking to use more. I think in terms of what you're asking for, that could still potentially occur now, even with a bathroom lock out there. Someone could walk behind someone and still go forward for that. So I think in those cases, as I said before, we will monitor, we'll see what we need to do. We have RAs who, do rounds. We will address concerns as they come up. If there are concerns that our students have, we could definitely address those with those students and have those conversations if they do occur. And I think we haven't had issues in the past. And I think realistically, for some of our bathrooms on campus now, they've been basically popped open for a few weeks. So in essence, last year and this year during opening time, we had bathrooms that were basically open. They may have been locked, eventually out there, but we've had them open for a while or been propped open when they have had issues out there. So there's been times where they've been open and we haven't seen any issues out there. If things do come up, we are willing to work on addressing those. I think the locks kind of unfortunately had to kind of give a full sense of safety because people are assuming they're working all the time. When they don't work, they're propped open. So that's it. We took into all that into consideration. I think if we were able to find a solution to make these keep working forward, we definitely would have done that. We know there's some students out there who have preferences for that, but we're trying to balance the use and what we have to work with it as well.
Chris Landon.
Through you, Tress. Do you think, I know you do information sessions around RA training time or RA selection. Do you think maybe this semester you could do an information session to kind of ease the student concerns that some might have, maybe in like a couple weeks, so that, people aren't, left without their questions answered for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, we're definitely looking to see what options we have for that one, if we're doing things within the halls or finding some solutions out there. So we definitely look into what options, and what we can do to address them. As soon as you have questions, concerns, reach out to your hall directors, come out to our main office, talk to me, talk to Chris. We're definitely willing to hear your concerns out there. If there's things we can do and change and address, we definitely will. If there's things we can't, we can try to find solutions that we can do to try to deal with those concerns and try to find a solution that makes people comfortable in there. It is trying to find that good balance between accessible use, safety, security, and trying to find what we have within our facility that to do that. As kind of mentioned before, we're always kind of working with what funding we have and what is the smartest use of our dollars out there, and that's kind of what we're trying to figure out what can we do for that. So we definitely looking to see if there's a way to either a meeting or something like that in those halls.
Jacob Constant.
Good evening, thank you for coming down, John. Kind of to build off of what Dan said, because we're unique to have the locks, wouldn't that drive away students who pick the school because of them if we are taking them away?
I can't say for sure either way. There may be some students who chose us just for that reason, and that could very well be accurate out there. I think with that, we can try to address the concern and see what we can do to help alleviate them and try to find a way to make sure they can stay here. Could it be a selling point and a beneficial thing out there? Sure. It would, like I said, I think before, this wasn't an easy decision we came to. It was honestly, it's been about 3 years now since we've been talking about this and seeing what we can do. It ultimately came down to this year that determining what we had and what we could do, that we were told that we will have partial bathrooms, and if we didn't do this route, we're trying to have bathrooms that weren't working parts or handles out there. So it was a variety of reasons why we had to come to this one. I think there are also benefits to, because I know working in my area of operations, sometimes having more students of asking, okay, which restroom you want to use. If you're doing room changes out there, there's times where cars can work right away with the room change, so they're swapping spaces, and it's trying to make it as seamless as possible. We know that the halls are where you all live. You want to be able to have a bed that you can sleep on, and you want to be able to have a bathroom that you can use, and when you can't get both of those out there, you know that there's an issue going on there, so we're trying to find that best solution. And I think if we have concerns, we'll definitely talk with them, address their concerns the best we can, try to answer their questions, and try to show them that we're trying to show them the why, and then we're still caring about that. I think too as well, we do have cameras across the hall, so if there's things that do come, we have ways to try to track it. It's not really accurate 100%. We don't know necessarily the names behind them. I know that is one unique thing to compare to some other cameras out there as well. So we do have some aspects of that. And also to clarify too, the cameras don't go in the bathrooms. I know I said that before, so they don't look in the bathrooms, but they're in the hallway as well. That if there's safety concerns, we still have those aspects as well.
Thank you.
Maggie Balch.
Hi, everyone. Just really quickly, I think it's really important to remember that we never say that people are safe 100% of the time. We just can't do that. And so I understand that there may be a safety piece to this, but there's also a safety piece of walking across Western Ave, right? So think about it from that perspective. The other thing that I would say is you were all student leaders in this space. You have a narrative to give about this. And if people are walking into the bathroom and you're frustrated because they're trashing the bathroom, or you see people using bathrooms that maybe you don't believe that they should, I think you can say something and talk about that and why that's important. I have been this is my sixth institution where I've worked, and I've never had issues with the bathrooms, and none of them have been locked. And I've worked in schools all over the country. So this is a little different for Westfield, but it's kind of the norm. Talk to your friends at other schools. Rarely is there a bathroom that's locked. And in fact, it's oftentimes seen as a safety, as a reverse safety issue. So to John's point, and I think some people brought it up, that we didn't come to this conclusion lightly. We've had several conversations about it, and we're at a point where this has to be the decision based on the situation where we are.
Any further? Seeing none, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Board of Trustees report, Daniel Currier.
All right, good evening. Last week, Justin and I held our monthly meeting with Dr. Thompson. I would like to highlight two key items from this meeting. First, as you are aware, the PVTA is no longer free for students. Instead, students in need of a pass can pick up a pass at SAIL office. This service has been so popular that SAIL ran out of bus passes last week. To ensure that students can still have access to the bus network long-term, the Executive Council is considering whether to recommend a model where the university negotiates a discounted semester-long cost for students that can be waived on their bill, similar to the fitness center. By placing a fee on a student's bill, the pass can be paid for utilizing financial aid. This model is employed by a number of universities, particularly those in the Boston area with the MBTA. Dr. Thompson's previous institution, UMass Boston, is one of these institutions, and Dr. Thompson is in favor of such a model. Please let me know of your thoughts as we consider this potential recommendation and other fee changes for the next academic year. Second, as you may know, SGA is celebrating its 100th anniversary this academic year. Dr. Thompson has encouraged us, and Joseph and I agreed, that this occasion should be used as an opportunity not only to celebrate with SGA alumni, but to fundraise for an initiative we are passionate about. One vision that we have discussed is a fundraising dinner with SGA alumni, with proceeds going toward an endowed scholarship that benefits our fellow students. Although putting on such an event and fundraising for an endowed scholarship may be a tall task, I am confident that this organization that has proudly stood for over 100 years will be able to pull it off in consultation with campus partners such as institutional advancement. Publicity, Elizabeth Mercer's Special Committee on Publicity and External Relations.
Or something, you get in an accident, so.
I